English with Deck. Okay, so I'm sure you've heard of the phrase, uh, things happen in threes. Well, just in case you haven't, basically it's usually used for if something, kind of something bad happens, a bit unfortunate maybe, unlucky, or just difficult really, as in like a difficult situation occurs. And then I guess to make people feel better, the idea is that things happen in threes is the phrase that gets thrown around a lot. You know, let's say, okay, let's say you lose your keys, and then the next day, or even that, yeah, the next day you break a dish, and then you're feeling like, oh, fragile, frustrated, anxious, etc. And then something else happens. So, but you know, these things happen in threes, so you can feel more positive, and hopefully it doesn't fourth, fifth, sixth time doesn't happen to you. So I guess it's all about offering reassurance to the injured party in that sense. Not literally injured as in a uh, difficult, a hospital visit. It could be, but yeah, usually not so much. I would say like that. But I just wanted you to hear about my experience with, happening in threes. And I don't know, maybe this doesn't warrant a case of it always happening in threes. Maybe it does. Anyway, okay, so let's start from the beginning. So, you know, when you have the plan to get stuff done, and then you've got an idea about a schedule and stuff, and of course, it doesn't happen. Now, another one people say quite a lot would be something like, things always happen at once, which is also true, Like, we spent, let's say, the back end of last year into the new year, coming into January, everything was, well, busy as usual. However, nothing eventful, nothing to worry about particularly. And then suddenly, boom, in comes February. Boom. Not just boom, boom. And then I had a little operation on my wrist. Okay, time to rest and recuperate, I thought. You know, just focus on the English stuff. Rest, R&R, just what the doctor ordered. No, my eldest daughter gets influenza for 1 week, so she's off school, and in that time as well, my other daughter started her nursery. So in that first week, straight after my minor operation, I will say minor, it wasn't life threatening. So I'd say the first one was the influenza. And then whilst my oldest daughter has influenza, and I've only got one hand essentially, also having to do pickups and stuff of a child who has been newly introduced to nursery, you can imagine how that went. Okay, then after that, so you've got 1 week, and things are looking up. Okay, we're getting on top of this. Health is good. Everyone's on the mend. Let's do this. Okay, so next one. The youngest daughter brings home the stomach flu. Wow, that was rough. I made it. If you didn't listen to that episode, I suggest you do. I don't worry. Don't go into detail too much, but I'm sure a few of you can relate to that. So yes, that whole weekend, me, my two kids were just out for the count. KO, KO, etc. So yeah, and then luckily my wife escaped that one, but yeah. Anyway, then so that's number two. Doom, doom, doom. Now number three. Well, I'll tell you what happened. My dad, my father, he's older, he's in his late 70s, a bit of an older gentleman. He's when people get older, they tend to sort of decline a little bit, health wise. It's a natural thing, of course. Anyway, he ended up having to go into hospital. Okay, and I will say he's okay now, but it was a stressful few days because my dad actually lives in Ireland and I'm in Japan, as I'm sure you know. Now that means, well, we can't easily see him, and obviously, if he's in hospital, contact is limited, etc. So that's pretty stressful. And then I was with at one point his condition did deteriorate, so I started to think, oh wow, okay, maybe I need to get a go bag ready. Get out and go, get up and go, should I say? Get up and go bag. So yeah, I got all my passport and stuff ready, and looking at flights and crying a little bit. Not actually from sadness from my father, just looking at the prices. I was like, what? Oh my gosh. It's astronomical. Astronomical. Great word, by the way. If something is astronomical, it's like to the stars in usually in price. Um, yeah. Anyway, so during that time, it's like, well, if I go now, nothing really changes. So as long as his condition doesn't worsen, we won't do anything. And then yeah, some stuff happened over there during that time. So I was just like, whoa, should I go over or not? Right immediately, but decided not to go over immediately. Like I say, if I went over, well, nothing would change. If he's in hospital or not for the time being. So anyway, and then over the next few days with antibiotics and lots of care from the amazing doctors and nurses who attended to him, he made a reasonable enough recovery to be discharged. Whew. Um, and then yeah, so that was the third thing that month. I'm hoping it's over now. I don't want four. I don't want five. I don't want six of these things. I'm done with three. But it did raise the issue of just traveling to see family. And as I'm sure some of you know who do live either, well, even if you live a couple of hours away from family, it can be try, worrying at times. But especially when you're whole on the other side of the country, whole continents away, even. It does raise issues. And I think one of them is definitely just being ready and prepared to be able to go if you need to. And it's not always easy. So, yeah, lots of food for thought there. But I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about whether you're living close to your relatives or quite far from your relatives and how you handle situations like what I just shared. Yeah. Okay, well, look, enjoy your day, enjoy your evening, and see you in the next one.